Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in Cowansim's Bell 206L Ranger helicopter. We have a 46 nautical mile flight from Van Nuys, Victor November Yankee to Cable, Charlie Charlie Bravo. We are once again, as you see, in a helicopter, and this is a payware helicopter, which is quite a handful for me to fly because I am not a helicopter pilot, so it should be an interesting flight. Let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Alright, we've got the window cracked for a little bit of air. You can see we're carrying 2 passengers in the back. They have no idea what they're in for with this flight. One of the nice things about the Bell is it's fully configurable. So up here we'll check that all of our switches are off and our circuit breakers are all in. The rotor brake is off. That looks good. Now our fuel valve should be off, so we're going to turn it off even though we'll turn it back on. The hydraulic switch should be off by default. They kind of all start in the on position along with the attitude gyro, so we'll just set this all up how it's supposed to be. Now we'll head back down here to the panel, check that we are clear left and right, turn on the battery master switch. We'll mute that alarm by pressing the black button underneath the annunciators. Next, we'll head down to the throttle, rotate it past the idle stop, rotate it fully open, rotate it back to the idle stop, press the idle stop, and rotate it closed. Check that our flight controls are free and correct. They are. We'll test our annunciators, press the button, all of the lights illuminate, press our totalizer, the red light comes on there. That all looks good. Now we can turn on the fuel valve, guard it, turn on the hydraulics, that's the switch down here on the right. Head up to the top and we can turn on our anti-collision lights and our attitude gyro. The fuel boost pumps are the 2 red breakers there. We will verify that they are pushed in, 1 and 2. That looks good. Alright, we are ready to start. So we're going to monitor the gas producer gauge. That's the 3rd one down in the middle. So we're going to press the starter button with the throttle closed. There we go. Now watch the needle come up, and we're going to wait until it's 12 to 15% before introducing any fuel via the throttle. There we go, so we can rotate it past the idle stop. The stop clicks up, and we're going to leave it at idle. And we're going to monitor our gauges for a good start. You can see the rotor starting to turn. Temp briefly peaked, but it came back down into the green. So that's looking good. I love the sound of the helicopter starting, and the sounds on this payware aircraft are just superb, both inside and outside of the aircraft. So we just turned on the generator, so now we're generating electrical power from the engine. You can see that that extinguished. The only indicator we have on is the low RPM light, and that will go off once we get up to speed. We'll turn on the avionics, and then we will connect to the ATIS via SayIntentions and get the real-world weather. It's a little bit noisy with the helicopter spooling up, so we'll close our window here to make it a little bit quieter.
Formation Victor 2253 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 9er. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 33. Dew point 12. Altimeter 299er6.
Alright, let's run through the flight brief. So we are departing from Van Nuys. You can see that the weather is variable at 6 with clear skies. Looks like VFR weather in the future, so great day to fly. And we are flying to Cable, which is an untowered field, nestled just north of the Ontario airspace. They've got a bit of wind there. You see 14 knots, scattered 10,000, so it's going to get windier as we head eastward. You can see the 2 H's on the east side of Cable. That's where we're going to aim for to land on their helipads. Now you've got some complex airspaces. We've got the Burbank class Charlie airspace at our departure. Van Nuys is a class Delta, and Whiteman is a class Delta just north of it. So we're going to head southeast, fly underneath the Ontario airspace, and then underneath the LA Bravo. The Bravo shelf is at 5,000. We're flying at 2,000, so that's not a problem. There is a TFR here for Dodger Stadium, however that is currently inactive, so we don't need to worry about it. So if you look back at our departure, we're going to fly south from Van Nuys, over the flood basin, through the pass and aim for Century City, which is a cluster of buildings. Century City does have a NOTAM for unmanned aircraft scheduled, so we're going to need to be aware of that. We're going to stay in this corridor here at 2000 using Griffith Park as a waypoint, heading for the Rose Bowl. You can see class Charlie of Ontario is 3000, so as long as we stay at 2000, we're fine. Then we're going to follow the highway through Pasadena to Santa Anita Racetrack, nice visual waypoint. Then we've got a bunch of VFR reporting points, including Irwin Speedway. We'll continue flying east. We'll request transitions through the class Deltas here, but remain underneath the class Charlie of Ontario, and then land at Cable. You can see there is an active TFR for military exercises north of our flight path, so we'll have to remain clear of the mountains, which won't be a problem. Van Nuys ground, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, VFR request.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, Van Nuys ground, go ahead.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec is type B06 slant golf. We'd like flight following destination Cable Charlie Charlie Bravo at 2000 with information Victor.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, departure from your location will be at your own risk. Taxi to runway 34 left via Alpha.
Departure at my own risk, taxi 34 left via Alpha, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec. Alright, the AI didn't quite get it right there. On one hand, it was cool it gave me a departure at my own risk because I was a helicopter, but that would be if it was from a non-controlled area, such as the ramp, as opposed to a controlled area, such as the runway. It also asks for flight following, but it just went right to taxi instructions, so we will pick up flight following when we get into the air. Alright, now comes the hard part. The Bell 206L is much harder to fly, I find, than the Asobo 406, but I've been practicing a little bit, so hopefully we can manage a hover taxi here. Alright. Whoa. Collective's still very touchy, and that is not a taxiway. Alright. Let's turn around here. Slowly, carefully.
Roger.
Okay, there's the taxiway up there. So we have a short hover here, and we're gonna hold short at the runway. Ease into it. Alright, not too bad. So far, so good.
Skyhawk readback, correct?
Van Nuys Tower, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, holding short runway 34 left, ready for departure.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, Van Nuys Tower, winds 170 at 6, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec. Alright, we'll bring the collective up a little bit. Nose forward, and we're descending a little more collective. There we go. Don't want to rocket up into the sky. Turn here onto 34 left. It is really hard to hover taxi. Concentrating a lot. There we go. Alright, now we're going to nose down here and build up some speed before climbing. Alright, we need to build up enough speed to generate translational lift. And then once we do that, we can safely climb. Alright, we're going to hang a left here shortly. We are on track, so let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, 4 Sierra Quebec, good day. Socal approach, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec is type B06 land golf just over Century City at 2,400. Would like flight following destination cable Charlie Charlie Bravo at 2,000.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec Socal approach, squawk 6124 and ident.
6124 and ident, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, radar contact, 7 northeast of Santa Monica at 2100 feet. Santa Monica altimeter, 29.97.
Position checks 2997, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, contact Socal approach on 124.3.
Over to approach on 124.3 for Sierra Quebec. Socal approach, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, level 1,800.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, Socal approach. Good evening, Burbank, altimeter 29.97.
2997 for Sierra Quebec.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, contact Los Angeles Center on 132.85.
Over to center on 132.85, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec. Los Angeles Center, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, level 2,400.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, Los Angeles Center. Good evening, Burbank, altimeter 29.94.
2994 for Sierra Quebec. LA Center, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec would like to transition the San Gabriel class Delta at 2,000 feet to the east.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, transition approved at 2,000 feet.
Transition approved at 2,000 feet, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, contact bracket tower on 133.3.
Over to bracket on 133.3 for Sierra Quebec. Bracket tower, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, level 1,700.
Helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, bracket tower, enter left, downwind for runway 26 left.
Negative bracket tower, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec would like to transition the airspace to the east at 2,000.
Helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec, transition approved at 2,000. Eastbound. TBM Charlie 64, welcome to executive. Exit at November if able. Contact ground on 121.75.
Eastbound transition approved at 2,000, helicopter 4 Sierra Quebec. Alright, we're at a Bracket Fields airspace. We asked for a frequency change, but the AI ATC did not respond, so we're just going to change to CTAF on our own and self-announce. Cable traffic, helicopter 554 Sierra Quebec, 3 miles north at 2,200, inbound for full stop cable. Alright, if you thought taxiing was hard, wait until you try to land this helicopter. So we're going to slow down to our approach speed, bleed off speed and altitude. This does work a little bit like an aircraft in that you pitch the nose up to slow down, and you control your rate of descent with the collective instead of the throttle for the aircraft. We're going to land on this helipad here, or at least try to. Alright, we arrested our forward motion. and that went amazingly well. In many of my practice flights, this ended up in a ball of fire, so not ball of fire is my bar for success when landing a helicopter. Alright, as we get everything shut down, we'll do the debrief. The photogrammetry area of Socal and Microsoft Flight Simulator just begs for a low and slow flight with a helicopter, so it was made for this type of flight. The Bell 206L by Cowansim is really beautifully modeled and has a lot of features. I didn't even show you all the configurable features that you can turn on and off with the helicopter, so it's a lot of fun. It is quite a handful if you're not used to flying helicopters. But if you're up for a challenge, give it a try. You can see my passengers don't look too traumatized. So I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.